Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Black Views, and today we have a story. Our story is about Mike Hickman, a football coach who was killed on the field while teams were playing, while youth league teams were playing. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you what the news clippings and all what they have to say. Then I'm gonna come back with my own commentary. Thank you.
At a preseason Pee Wee football game in Lancaster, an argument quickly turned into a fight.
Not even the game that counts.
Seconds later, it ended with a deadly shooting.
We saw one of our coaches laying down on the ground right there. It's tough.
Michael Freeman runs the DEA Dragons, one of the teams playing when the shooting happened. The coach killed was their offensive coordinator and former UNT star, 43-year-old Mike Hickman.
More than just a coach, great father, great man, great role model, great mentor.
Freeman says the fight began when Hickman went to grab a ball and someone kicked it away. Police identified the shooter as Aqib Talib and are still trying to find him.
I heard gunshots.
That was the first thing you heard?
Yeah, gunshots, people running.
Tavar Watson owns the North Dallas United Bobcats, the other team playing. He says Talib and his brother, former NFL star Aqib Talib, are both coaches for the team.
I think it's all senseless, man. Like, yesterday was probably the worst day of my life, man. And
Watson has been friends with Hickman through football for roughly a decade.
we lost a good guy, a real, what we call stand-up guys, one of the guys that's there for his family.
I'm lost at words. I don't know how to explain that to the kids. That's the part that I'm stuck on right now. How do I explain it to them? Why?
The 9-year-old kids playing were just yards away from the shooting, including Hickman's own son.
I held his son, little Mike Jr., and I held him like my son. And it was very, very, very hard to hold him and console him because, again, I mean, just letting him know that we'll be there for him.
At a game that didn't count and in a league with the goal of mentoring kids, a coach, a husband, and a father lost his life.
This is something that these kids will remember for the rest of their life. They'll never forget this moment. The only thing that I want right now is just justice. That's all.
In Lancaster, I'm William Jordan.
Hey, Scott, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. The voice you hear
He was always kind of a gentle giant.
belongs to Scott Hall, former UNT quarterback and teammate to Mike Hickman. A voice
He seemed to have the right words at the right time.
Hall listened to often.
He was a very good leader and mentor to a lot of us younger guys on and off the field.
Hickman was gunned down during a Pee Wee preseason game in Lancaster Saturday evening. A fight between opposing coaching staffs led to gunfire and the arrest of sole suspect Aqib Talib. He's now charged with murder, turning himself into the Dallas County Jail Monday. He's the brother of retired NFL cornerback Aqib Talib. Here's Aqib's attorney.
He feels terrible the whole thing happened, but I think there are some heavy defensive overtones to what happened out there on that playing field, and in time, that'll all come out.
Two receivers right, it's Hickman on the fullback.
In the meantime, Hickman is being remembered by UNT, the school tweeting this photo that says, "Forever Mean Green."
You know, he really got the shine that day.
Former voice of the Mean Green, George Dunham, remembers Hickman scoring 3 touchdowns in November of 2002.
Smith throws it out to Hickman.
He called it all on the radio. Hickman's performance won the team the Sun Belt Conference Championship that day.
And I remember being happy for him, and I also remember how happy his teammates were for him.
But what hurts Hall the most,
So like for his family and his kids, it's just a horrible thing.
Hickman was killed teaching the sport he loved. In Lancaster, I'm Matt Howerton.
All right, guys. So you heard that saddening story. Mike Hickman, football coach, was killed by another football coach, Aqib Talib. Now, this is the brother of Aqib Talib, cornerback, NFL cornerback. They both actually coach that team. I don't know where he was when all this went down. You saw the short footage of where the coaches and people were fighting over stupidity. Next thing you know, somebody produces a gun, and then there's gunshots. See, sometimes I know this all too well. Sometimes you have different type of men that clash. maybe that's not probably the best example. But for instance, if you look at the football coach, Mr. Hickman, upstanding man, everybody has nothing but good things to say about him. Played the game, the highest level for him, which was college, and came back, decided that he wanted to teach young kids in the neighborhood and do things for his community. On the other side, you have a heathen, which actually will carry a gun, okay, which would carry a gun onto a little league football field. We're not talking about a football game or a high school football game. We're talking about 9-year-olds. He's carrying a firearm onto the field. That's the first thing. Second thing is here's a coach. His guy nobody's getting paid for any of this. So you ask yourself, what in the hell is this man doing with a gun? Now you heard his attorney. There was some self-defense undertones with it. The only thing I can imagine is that for self-defense is that someone pulled a gun on you. There's no other reason for you to be with a gun out on the football field and you shoot a football coach. It's not a lot of information with this. Police aren't saying whether or not they found a weapon on the football coach that was shot. I haven't seen that anywhere, and they're not saying anything like that. But it's a tragic loss for the community. And what I don't understand is, he's a football player of a professional athlete. You think that, his brother being a, high profile and everybody knowing who his brother is and in the community, that he would be a little more reserved. But there's not a lot of information how this thing started or how this fight started. But I say this from experience because I was a coach for 8 years on the little league level, AAU. And I know what it is like when you get a bunch of dusty motherfuckers that try to, coach a sport that don't really know, didn't play, didn't get far as they didn't even play little. Some of them didn't even play the little league their goddamn self, and they will attempt to come out and coach these other kids. Now here you are, you're trying to teach the kids proper ethics, letting them know to what's fair, what's not fair, how to play with dignity, how to play with pride, and how to compete. You're trying to teach this to them. And when you look across the field, you'll see a young man over there with his pants hanging down, skinny jeans on, just looking inappropriate. Now, maybe skinny jeans is that's unfair. I shouldn't say skinny jeans because I guess that's just the style now. But, they're teaching other kids. And a lot of times I don't think they're actually teaching. A lot of them don't go to clinics. They play John Madden. They don't go to clinics. They don't go to college clinics and spend the summer there and learn how to properly do a football camp and things like that. And so this is where sometimes you get, I hate to say it, but a bunch of ghetto motherfuckers who are out on the field who are antagonists, man. You could be playing this, you could be coaching this game and your kids could be winning. Your kids could be winning and the other team will get upset, and the coach from the other team will start talking all kinds of craziness and getting all kind of inappropriate and saying things to antagonize the other coaches and the other teams. You see this. I'm telling you, you see this all too often. And I just think it's going to come to a point where basically there won't be any programs for kids on things for kids to do because the grown-ups are screwing it up. Grown-ass men. We're supposed to be out there for the kids. The whole effort for the kid to do is to learn how to compete, learn how to be fair, Learn all the positive traits that you can learn from being a winner. And when you go on the field, you have other coaches, you hear them cussing and screaming and yelling and saying things that just ain't appropriate. But anyway, you know, this is a short one because there's not a lot of information with it, but I wanted to get my piece on this. And I just think it's sad that, you know, there are people out here to give their free time to try to mentor children, but there's some people that go to these events to sleep with the moms. There's some people that go to these events just to fight other men at the events, and I just think that it's just sad. I don't know where this comes from. I don't know how you stop this, you know. But it all comes to accountability, and I'm telling you, when you mix dusty motherfuckers with upright niggas, man, this is what you get. The dusty motherfucker's gonna shoot you, cause he already feel hurt that somehow he feels jealous that this man has probably progressed somewhere in his life that he hasn't, or achieved some things that he hasn't. So he wants to put a fucking bullet in you, bro, at a little league football game. What if men just decided, man, I ain't going out there and get shot on a football field? Who gonna teach them how to play football? Dusty motherfuckers? That's gonna get the kid kicked out. The kid can't even make it into school because he's not teaching them. He doesn't have the proper tools to make it. But anyway, so go ahead, please subscribe, please like. This is Black Views, bringing you the black news.